Greetings, happy warriors, and welcome to the Rabbi Daniel Lapin Show, where I, your rabbi, reveal how the world really works. Thanks for being part of the show, and thank you for subscribing, and thank you for your participation. As you know, you are welcome to become a member of the Happy Warrior community, and when that happens, I enjoy communicating with you on the Happy Warrior website and enjoying the conversation and the insights that I get from your participation. So it's not just one-way communication. This may not be quite as interactive as the old-style talk radio shows on terrestrial radio. I used to be the host of a show like that in Seattle. I was a host of a show like that on KSFO in San Francisco for a number of years. And now I'm enjoying the wonderful world of podcasting. But one of the ways to keep it or to make it a little bit interactive is through the conversation aspect, the community side of it. And that takes place in the community at the website wehappywarriors.com. And this, dear Happy Warriors, is perhaps the most exciting thing we have currently. It's certainly something I've been very enthusiastic about for a while, and that is, of course, that for members of the We Happy Warrior community, we have a special weekly bonus audio program in which I discuss things that I don't speak about very often in public. And this week, for instance, if you were a member of our Happy Warrior community, you would go to the We Happy Warrior website and you'd see the bonus program for this week. And there you will listen to a discussion on selling, on the profession of selling, and also an explanation for why it is that nearly 80% of the human resources professionals in the United States of America are women. Is this anti-male bigotry? Are men not being employed? Are men being gotten rid of? Are men being underpaid? How do you explain the fact that so many human resource positions, chief human resource officer, all women, 80% of them are women? What's going on there? And we discuss that. And what we discuss also the reason that you shouldn't think of a sales professional as being the contemporary equivalent of Willie in Arthur Miller's horrible play, Death of a Salesman. No, the field, the profession of selling is not only reputable, it is also secure, and it satisfies a masculine need for a masculine profession. You want to know what all that means? Well, obviously I don't talk about it in public. It's far too dangerous. But there it is on the bonus podcast on the We Happy Warriors website. For those of you we are so grateful to for being members. Here's something else that is available at wehappywarriors.com. It's also available at RabbiDanielLapin.com, and that's a free ebook for you to download right now, all for yourself. And it's called Boost Your Income, and it is 3 specific strategies to make sure that you create more wealth, that you earn more revenue for the second half of 2025 than you did during the first half of 2025. So we're just into the second half, and this is just a fine time to adopt 3 simple, straightforward, somewhat spiritual strategies to boost your income. So it's an ebook, it's a free download. And you might ask, well, why would I want to make it possible for other people to increase their revenue? Surely if I know how to do that, I should just do it myself. And if you have been listening for a while, or if you have read Thou Shalt Prosper or Business Secrets from the Bible or our thought tools over the years, then you already know something that the vast majority of people do not know, which is that making money is a collaborative enterprise. You cannot do it without other people. Here's a simple analysis. Let us imagine that, let's say your work is being a plumber, shall we say, or being a seamstress, repairing clothing. or selling clothing, would you rather live in a prosperous neighborhood of successful and wealthy people, or would you rather live in a poverty-stricken slum? And the answer is you're going to do much better if you live among other people who are doing well. If you're living in a poverty-stricken slum, people will do with leaking faucets and broken pipes. They're not going to spend money to fix them. So as a plumber, you're plumb out of luck. And so it is with whatever other goods or services you provide to your fellow human beings, to the other children of God around you. You really are better off if they have a few dollars. And so it is that is true for me and for you and for all of us. And so ensuring that as many people as possible can boost their income is in our interest, in everybody's interest. And so that's why you can obtain for absolutely no money at all a free download. It's an ebook. You get a book called Boost Your Income. You can go onto RabbiDanielLapin.com and look for it, or you can go to WeHappyWarriors.com and look for it there. You'll have no trouble downloading it, and it will be all yours. And I can tell you that it will have changed, will cause changes in your life, positive changes in terms of your financial destiny. Think about it. I mean, could you think of three really bad things to do that would hurt your income? Yeah, could you think of three dreadful mistakes to make that could hurt your income? One of them is having an affair and getting your picture of you and your paramour put up on a screen in an audience of 60,000 people, as happened to the former CEO of the data company called Astronomer, who lost his job. Yeah, so that would be one way to hurt your income. Could you think of another two ways to hurt your? Of course you could. And now, could you think of three ways to enhance your income? Three things that you could do that would do well for your career? Well, that's what the book Boost Your Income is all about. Three things that can your career. So go for that, and let us move on to the topic of today's show, which is a message from one African American to another. The person issuing the message is me. I'm an African American, as I was born on the African continent, even lived there a number of years, and then became a proud American citizen. And so, by definition, yes, I am an African American. And I am sending a message to another African American. Who is that? Zoran Mamdani, you might say. A Ugandan American, a man who was born in Uganda, and who is hoping to become the next mayor of New York. No, I don't have anything interesting to say to him. I don't want to hear anything interesting from him. But it's to another African American, a more famous one. His name is Elon Musk. Now, before you start laughing at me, let me assure you that not for a single millisecond does it cross my mind that Elon Musk will ever hear this, and even if he did, that he'd be in any way interested in it. That's not what this is about. The truth is, although I'm calling it a message from one African American to another, this is really all for you, you happy warriors. It's all for you. This is a podcast with information that enables you to live your life more effectively through advancing your families, your finances, your friendships, your fitness, and your faith. The 5 fundamental, indispensable areas of life and how they integrate with one another into one collaborative, cohesive system. So that's what we do on this podcast, right? And the format today is in the form of a message to Elon Musk. Now, before I go very much further, let me tell you that I don't know the man at all, but I did take the time to read Walter Isaacson's biography, which, again, I found fascinating. This is not a general book recommendation. It's not necessarily something you'd invest a lot of your life hours into reading, but if I was going to be talking about Elon Musk, it didn't seem reasonable to do so without having read what is a very good definitive biography. And I'm actually even impressed that Elon Musk okayed it. He let Walter Isaacson follow him around, I believe, for maybe more than a year, maybe 2 years. It was a major, major commitment. He shadowed him, and he had access to him and access to the people he worked with. And so I got to know a little bit about Elon Musk. No one can ever hope to know a whole lot about such an unusual figure. And he strides like a colossus across the American or the world financial landscape. And I have to say that and I can't say I admire him as a human being or as a person or as an intellect or none of those things. But he is notable. He is very significant, and he has achieved the most remarkable things. I think if Elon Musk never does another thing, if he retired tomorrow, which he'll never do, but if he did, he right away, even now, takes his place among the titans of American commercial enterprise. Cornelius Vanderbilt, right? Shipping, railroads, John Rockefeller, Standard Oil, Andrew Carnegie, Steel, the Carnegie Steel Company, J.P. Morgan, banking. These are all names you all know, right? The Henry Clay Frick. One of the ways you might know him is museums. He was a big art collector, and also coal and steel. Henry Ford. Elon Musk is no less significant a person in American business history than Henry Ford. Thomas Edison, in terms of an innovator, coming up with astounding things. Hearst in publishing. Ray Kroc comes to mind, right? The guy who built McDonald's hamburgers. These are, giants on the American commercial landscape. Sam Walton of Walmart, Warren Buffett, Bill Gates himself, Bezos, Steve Jobs. I mean, the names pop out, Elon Musk takes his place in that remarkable collection of amazing human beings, people of really, amazing business titans of America, no question about it. So with all those admirable characteristics and achievements, I thought, okay, now let me think to myself, what would be the three biggest areas of failure that I would lay at the feet of Elon Musk? And again, I stress that I don't think that he would know about it or care about it. He operates on an entirely different level. And so, again, I'm not saying this because I want him to hear. I'm not trying to improve Elon Musk. But I am committed to bringing you information that can help you improve your life. And so bear with me for a moment as I identify what I think are the three main failures of Elon Musk, the three areas in which I would say these are the opposite of building PayPal. I mean, an incredible achievement. SpaceX, unbelievable. Tesla, remarkable. What are three failures of Elon Musk? Okay, so the first one is he is astonishingly quick to burn bridges. Now, I won't pretend to know anything about what really goes on behind the scenes, what happened between him and President Trump. I have no idea. But to all intents and purposes, it certainly appears as if these two men who did so much during their brief collaboration broke up in a way, and I'm not talking about the president now, his own discussion, but only talking about Elon Musk, the African-American, and looking at him from his point of view. He was close. The President of the United States owed him a great deal, and I think was willing probably to retain a friendship and an affiliation, but that ended up in an almost childish way. I'm not saying the president was blameless by any means, but talking only about Elon Musk, yeah, he really did put him out, and it seemed as if the bridge was burnt, and it seems as if that is. Then again, from Walter Isaacson's biography of Elon Musk, there are a whole lot of other people that he ended relationships with, but it didn't need to be in a contentious way that severed the friendship, severed the connection. And in the business world, I have seen people end relationships, end formal business relationships, but retain warmth and mutual respect. It's not easy. You've got to be taught how to do it. It doesn't come naturally. But somebody with the remarkable capabilities of Elon Musk, surely you would have thought, wouldn't he have gone out of his way? He broke up with the co-founder of Tesla. It was a guy called Martin Eberhard. And Martin Eberhard is a brilliant car man. And it's possible, to clash over the direction of which Tesla must go. I don't know the details, but the bridges are burnt. They had a public dispute and lawsuits and mutually contentious public. It was unnecessary. Musk started PayPal with Peter Thiel, and again, when that relationship ended, bridges were burnt. There was a very important guy at Tesla called Jim Keller, a software man, and again, that ended badly. A company called OpenAI, which I think their main product is ChatGPT, and so it's an AI company, and that was built with Sam Altman. And again, when Musk fell out, he co-founded OpenAI, but he fell out with Sam Altman, and again, unnecessarily. Surely life would be better professionally and socially if he would have retained ongoing friendships, and it should have been possible, because that's what people would like to achieve. There may be hurt feelings, but you get over them, and you protect and preserve the relationship. But with Sam Altman, Elon Musk burnt the bridges. There were people, when Elon Musk took over Twitter, there were people that he fired, but again, he didn't just fire. It's understandable. New owner comes in, people have to leave, but it can be done in a way that is not public and not insulting and doesn't basically end any relationship whatsoever. Do you remember that time? And again, Elon Musk is so remarkable, but do you remember that time where kids were stuck in a cave in Thailand? And Elon Musk jumped in and designed a sort of mini submarine to get people out. And for again, no apparent reason, Elon attacked a guy called Vernon Unsworth, who was the chief rescuer on that operation. And again, total destruction of the relationship. They could have collaborated. They should have. They did. But in the end, the relationship was destroyed. I think, again, I don't know too many of details, but Elon Musk definitely fell out with Bill Gates. And what happened is Bill Gates shorted Tesla stock, to bet in the stock market that stock will go down. And it's not good for a company if significant investors do that. And so Elon Musk attacked Bill Gates. But again, it was done in a way that really just shattered the relationship. So I'd say that is one very noticeable, that I'm going to call that flaw number one in Elon Musk for today's discussion. Now, I'm not going to suggest that when compared to other prominent leaders in American business, that Elon Musk's predictions are wildly worse. Even a relatively staid leader like, shall we say, Jamie Dimon, who's the CEO of J.P. Morgan Chase, he's had his fair share of bad predictions. They were somewhat more technical, I would say. So there were some very serious trading issues at J.P. Morgan's London department in, 10, 15 years ago, something like that. And he dismissed it. He said it's a storm in a teacup, but it wasn't. It turned into a big loss. But okay, fine. This was in his company. He's a couple of times he's given warnings of a recession that that haven't sort of actually materialized noticeably. He's spoken about inflation going crazy. He's spoken about a crack up in the bond market. And these were all predictions that, were not accurate at all. But in the case of Elon Musk, they really are very different indeed. And they're sort of things that everybody can relate to. If somebody said to me, how serious is the financial performance, the trading issue in J.P. Morgan Chase's London office in when it was 2010 or 2012, it just wouldn't have grabbed me. But what happened was in 2016, Elon Musk loudly and prominently claimed that a Tesla would drive itself from Los Angeles to New York by the end of 2017. And I remember this, and I remember saying at the time, that's not going to happen. It's not that I'm an expert on autonomous car technology, but I just have a sense of how the world really works. And driving from Los Angeles to New York, there are too many unknowns. I don't see it happening in a year. I really don't. From 2016 to 27, well, of course it didn't happen. I wasn't a genius. Pretty much everybody realized that was ridiculous. And the truth is that even now, right, we're halfway through 2025, and we're still nowhere near a car being able to drive by itself from Los Angeles to New York. Not going to happen. In 2019, Elon told us that by 2020, again in a year, we're going to see 1 million self-driving taxis on the street by 2020. 1 million self-driving taxis. At the moment, not a single fleet of robo-taxis has been launched as far as I know. I'm pretty sure that hasn't happened yet. It's still an idea. He said things like the only hope of future civilization is to migrate to Mars. I dismissed that as complete rubbish. The idea that artificial intelligence is dangerous and can threaten the survival of humanity, I said it at the time, complete and utter rubbish. And he doesn't say that anymore, to give him his due. But he did say that SpaceX would have humans on Mars by last year, by 2024. He said that repeatedly. There were many, many times. And, that's nonsense. SpaceX is nowhere near sending human beings. He said regular Mars flights. They're going to be Starship trips to Mars it's not happening, Then, of course, what happened was that he was big into the solar roof thing, and he had cousins who he put into the business, and I don't know the details, but it was a big mess. It's not been going well. But in 2016, when he developed and presented to the world this idea of roof tiles, and I think they were under the Tesla brand. And he said that, really quickly everybody would be adopting these things. Well, that hasn't happened. So he really does make a lot of firm predictions about the future. Here's another one. Do you remember the whole issue of big 18-wheelers, Tesla 18-wheelers? So back in 2017, we saw the first one. Right? It seems like yesterday. I remember it so clearly. But they promised that these things are going to be delivered and going to be on the road in numbers by 2019. So that isn't the case. It's not. There are very few of them operating, and the ramp up is not happening. I don't really understand his Neuralink work, but I do know that about 5 years ago, maybe 6 years ago, he said that Neuralink would begin human brain implant trials within a year. Well, the first trial actually was last year in 2024, and it's not racing ahead. And that's about it. Oh, one more case. I don't understand why he did this. Again, when it comes to the future, he's not that good. Tesla will go private at $420. You remember that? He tweeted, it was on tweet, he said, funding secured, with the words, to take Tesla private at $420 a share. And wow, people went crazy. That's amazing. At the time, this was big news. Well, of course, it didn't happen. And what did happen is that the Security and Exchange Commission, the SEC, sued. And I think they got a fine from Elon of $40 million. Sounds like a lot of money, right? Anyways, so number 2 in the list of Elon's flaws are really bad predictions. Number 1 was he burns bridges. Number 2, he makes bad predictions. And here's Elon flaw number 3 in the message from one African American to another, although it's not really to him. This is just for us. And the third flaw is the way he fathers kids. Elon has 14 children with 4 different mothers, and he's quite pleased with that because he is not planning on slowing down. Apparently, he is engaged in securing the services of yet other women in order to father more children. Now, again, giving him credit, he absolutely provides for the mothers and the children. He's very solid on that, no question about it. But the problem is that he's not being a father to those 14 children. Why do I say this? Because it's impossible. With all he is doing, and the frenetic pace at which he operates his many businesses, the notion that he's actually fathering 14 children, not happening. And secondly, I want to point out that in the Lord's language in Hebrew, there is no word for a single parent. God is revealing a great deal by showing us in his language that the word parents only exists as a plural. See, in English, you can say a parent, I'm a parent, but in Hebrew you can't. You can only say we are parents. So I can say Susan and I are parents. I can't say I am a parent, because parenting is a man-woman occupation. It can't be done by one person. And so, enough said. I think Elon is very is good for providing financial support for his 4 wives and 14 children, but he's not giving them what they really need, which is a mother and a father raising them at home. That's not happening. So again, the 3 flaws: burns bridges, makes bad predictions about the future, only kind of prediction there really is, right? And the way he's not providing parents for his children. So what is the unifying factor there? What is the common denominator? How do we explain that an African American of such incredible capability makes these 3 mistakes: burning bridges, bad predictions, and not being parents to his 14 children? And here is the answer. I believe that the answer is that Elon Musk doesn't get the idea of past or future, particularly future. Now, he builds very futuristic things, of course, but his predictions about the future are not correct. Now, you obviously can say that aiming for the stars means, he reaches very, very high levels, even if he doesn't reach what he aimed for. And I'm not disputing that at all. But what I am saying is that he burns bridges. That's not a wise thing to do. To make predictions that consistently that do not work out, that's not a wise thing to do. And to bring 14 children into the world that are never going to have parents, also not a wise thing to do. So what is the feature? I think the common feature primarily is a failure to get the future. It's more than not getting it intellectually. It's like not on his landscape at all. Even emotionally and viscerally, he doesn't get it. Because if he did, almost any normal person would take a grip of himself, no matter how angry he is with somebody, and he's going to say, you never know. The world has a funny way of turning around. Things change. Who knows if down the road I'm not going to really want a relationship with this person. So we have to terminate our business relationship, but I'm going to figure out a way to do that without destroying the human relationship. That's what normal people do. But if you don't have a sense of the future, if it's not on your radar screen at all. You're only in the present. Well, then why on earth would you think that? And I am fairly sure that there is no other way to adequately explain just how easily and how frequently Elon Musk burns bridges, meaning that he has no future, no possibility of a future connection or relationship with these people. Clearly, the future is just not on his screen at all. Secondly, bad predictions. Well, yeah. If you don't understand how the future works, and if you don't understand that, in a sense, you can never know the future. The future is always going to surprise us in one way or another. You can very cautiously and gently get a little bit of a sense, and I'll talk more about that in just a moment. But bold proclamations about the future, you can only do that if you don't understand that the future is essentially unknowable. But it's not wise. It doesn't boost Elon Musk. It hurts him. And finally, number 3, fathering kids. Not an understanding of the future there. He brings these kids into the world and he believes he's doing a good thing because at least he's right on the fact that the problem facing most developing countries is a shortage of human beings who've been well educated and acculturated, as I'm sure his children will be, but not understanding that a future in which children are educated technically but have no father is not good for the future. To give birth to produce a child and not make sure that that child has a mother and father raising that child in an intact family, that's a failure to comprehend the future. We have a better sense of how those kids are going to turn out than he does. When one of his children very publicly became estranged from him and renounced the Musk last name, that hurt him by all accounts. It certainly surprised him, but it didn't surprise you and me because we have a better understanding of the future. Producing a child like that, letting that child grow up to adolescents and teenagers without an intact family, you don't have a high probability of producing a loving, good, healthy in every way child. And in fact, so far that does not look as if it happened. Indeed, it bore out. So our relationship to the future is essentially spiritual. That's what we have to understand. I can understand the present if all I understand about the world is the physical and the material, because in the present, everything pretty much is. It's right there. Now, I won't be fully as effective as I could be because certain aspects of the present certainly have spiritual overtone in advertising, in decisions, economic decisions people make, in decisions people make based on love and desire. There are. But in general, the present is here. It's right here. You can perceive it easily. The future you can only perceive through your spiritual powers. Right? It's the same way as can you perceive God only through your spiritual powers, because he is not standing visibly in front of you. Doesn't mean he's not there. Means that you need to use your spiritual ability to perceive him. If you have not developed your spiritual ability, you won't perceive him. That's all. It's like, anything else. If there are people who have not trained their powers of observation. And I'm sure you've had this experience where you might say to somebody, that was really interesting, the badge that guy was wearing in his lapel. And the person you're with, who spent exactly the same amount of time as you did with that person, said, well, I didn't see. What was he wearing in his lapel? If you don't have certain capabilities, there are things you don't see. If you don't have spiritual capability, you don't see God. That's all. And if you don't have spiritual capability, you do not see the future. That's really important. So how do you develop that thing? In order to see the future a little bit more clearly, you have to develop the F of faith. That's why in the 5 indispensable F's that we specialize in teaching, whether to our coaching clients or whether it's to readers of the book or listeners to the podcast, focus very much on making sure people understand the interaction between family and finance and faith and fitness and friendship. And faith is a very important part of that in terms of understanding the future. And so let me give you 4 specific ways to work on this. Well, first of all, realizing and assuring yourself and getting to understand that the way the world really works is that the 5 F's apply at all times and in all places. They really are universal principles. And so clearly you have to work on understanding and wrapping your head around the 5 F's, and above all their integration, and how faith connects to family, and how faith connects to finances, and how faith connects to friendship, and how faith connects even to your relationship with your own body. So that's that's obviously our book, The Holistic You, and it's the way we train people and work with clients. Okay, all understood. Number 2, you've got to detach your ego. If you want to understand the faith aspect, and that means understanding the future, detach your ego. Now, that's easier said than done, because we all have egos, men more than women. But that's one of the reasons we speak about the intuitive ability of women. I'll tell you, blanket, in general, women see the future better than men. You know why? Less compelling egos. And you can see that, right? Women, in general, will very often put forward an idea diffidently, as if they're unsure about it. Men will bluster forward. Many men will, and most men, I'll say, with aggressive confidence. Okay, it's a difference. Well, when it comes to seeing the future, understanding the future, it is necessary to detach your ego as much as possible. And again, I talk in other places about exercises to do that and to make sure that you can detach your ego, because it's not possible to make correct determinations about the future, both in terms of what other people are going to do, what you ought to do, what the future might look like that you should prepare for. Cannot do that if your ego is running things. Let me give you just one tip. I know this sounds crazy, but truth often does, doesn't it? If you want to work on devoting some time to understanding the spiritual aspects of the future, one of the best ways to detach your ego is to fast. That's right. To spend a day without eating or drinking, and then devote, after you've, at the end of the day, after you've done that, before you break that fast, before you eat or drink anything, spend the last hour of your fast, or maybe earlier than that. It doesn't have to be the last hour, but in the second half of your fast day, give yourself an uninterrupted hour without your telephone and without anyone interrupting or disturbing you, just thinking. And as much as possible, do that in a dark room, because you're trying to minimize physical stimulus. Food is a very important one. Drink is a very important one. And what comes through your eyes is very important. So dark room, after you've fasted for a good few hours, spend the last little while of your fast contemplating and thinking these through. You'll be amazed what enters your mind. You are opening your mind to spiritual emanations. You will be astonished. So, number 1 is understand the universal applicability of the 5 F's. Number 2, detach your ego. Number 3, wrap yourself around the concept that change is one of the big rules of reality. Change is a reality. Recognize that change comes all the time, and that change is normal. That's it. And finally, please protect yourself from the prognostications of experts. Protect yourself, because the more you get rubbish input, the harder it is to tune in to the soft spiritual emanation that really do reveal the future. And today it's almost impossible to turn on your computer or your phone without having someone, I'm putting the word experts in quotation marks, okay, without having experts telling you what's about to happen. And again, Jamie Dimon of J.P. Morgan Chase got it wrong many times. He was an expert. He is an expert, no question about it. He's a huge expert in finance. And there are so many things Elon Musk is an expert in, but predictions are not one of them. Don't just protect yourself from those prognostications of experts. And in doing so, you'll learn to don't pay attention to what people say. Pay attention to what they do. And that'll give you a much better idea of the direction things are going to take. I've shared with you in the past that when it came to political predictions, I usually turned to the betting sites because what speech is cheap. People will say anything, but when you put money down on a bet for the future, you get a much better idea of what a lot of people are thinking. So watch how people behave, and you get the wisdom of the crowd to whatever extent that exists. But those are the ways in which you can focus on and develop the future very effectively indeed. So don't forget to get yourself your own copy of the free download ebook, Boost Your Income. And make sure also that you are a member of the Happy Warrior community. Join our community and be part of it and derive the benefits of camaraderie with other people who share your values and with other people who are trying to achieve just what you're trying to achieve. And doing all of that in the company of like-minded people is what the We Happy Warriors community is all about. And finally, because it is so very important to grasp the 5F system, make sure you get yourself your own copy of our book, The Holistic You, which, by the way, also has an accompanying workbook. And I strongly recommend both those things for your attention. So, Happy Warriors, that brings us to the end of today's show. And so I, in all humility and with enormous affection, bid you farewell for another week and hope you have a week of growing onwards and upward in your families, your finances, your fitness, your friendships, and your faith. God bless.